Excuse me. Okay. Um, you've seen the last videos. I've been kind of continuously saying the same thing. My videos are meant to just show a pattern of what they do, right? It's gonna be the same things, and it's gonna be consistent. For the simple purpose that I just want to show what they do to me and how consistently they've been doing this thing to me. 2 seconds ago they did this. Not too long ago. I keep saying 2 seconds, but within the last 30 minutes, this thing they did to me where there was an ad like a family and there's like some toddler. Immediately, like I got a glimpse of the toddler. Like I just looked away immediately, but this, the way they can stimulate you and create sexual arousals is just crazy. They would start warming up my genital areas and stimulating me because of the toddler, the child there. And I think it was a little girl. I'm not sure if it's either way. And that's when they're like, oh no, it's you. We mapped it. You like a little girl, it's a little baby girl. It's so nasty. I'm not even sure, but either way, it's the stimulation they make me have. Because I don't even try to look back to it until maybe later on, when things are kind of settled, like they stop doing these things, which is probably not gonna happen. And then 2 seconds ago, there's like an older kid who's like a maybe 11-year-old boy, and they didn't do this, and they kind of did it, but it's like, oh, this is fake, but the other stuff is real. This is a lot of the things that you're gonna hear about what they do to me when they force us sexual arousals. It's meant to just break you down, and they try to disorient you and torment you and distort reality and obviously deceive you. Like I said, the 3Ds are always going to be applied. After they do the stimulations, they're going to do three things: the distortions of reality, right? They're going to disorient you. So you're going to hear somebody slamming the door and run away and say, oh my God, we got him, Or they're going to deceive. It's like, oh, it's you, we mapped it, it's you were. They try to kind of find ways to make you think that this experience is just something that you experience naturally. That's always the case. It's so nasty. It's crazy. It was so bad that I was like, I kept my legs sprayed. I'm like, I don't want to do anything because I know if I even do like a quick move, they'll do some like more stimulation. It's so disgusting. And it's nasty. It is just disturbing and foul. And my brain, then they try to have like this like back and forth in finding ways to make me acceptive of these manipulations that are disgusting. That's the things they do, and that's the things they've been doing to me, and that's how things are going to continuously be done to me. And they're going to do those three things, right? They're going to try to deceive you into accepting this, distort you, and when I mean distort, they're going to distort reality, and they're going to disorient you. You're gonna hear people tell me, like some people tell me they're gonna fist me, they're gonna, after that happens, to kind of box in this thought and try to disorient me, because I'm like, oh my gosh, they're gonna fist me or some, this is the kind of foul things this trash do, and it's coming from like some trash, like some childlike individuals. It's part of the deceivingness, this deception. It's like a child, like, oh, they're gonna fist you, and she use that kind of tonality using V2K. This is disturbing, but that's the bottom feeders that these people are, right? And it's also a sense of like satisfaction knowing that this bottom feeder is just very fragile, and whatever torture I'm gonna go through, you understand, it won't take much for whatever comes to her, right? To happen to her. So that's comforting a little bit, but at the same time, it's still disturbing. And they do these nasty pedophilia things, and then they're like deceiving. Like the deception is always like, oh, we matched it, we matched it, we mapped it. You felt like that when you were a kid. Remember when you were a kid, you felt that. It's always that kind of nastiness, and try to get you to accept these things. And my brain, they're like, oh no, but you never felt like that with your boy, so this is a little, like just bunch of nonsensicalness that of course I'm being manipulated to be feeling these disturbing ways of feeling. And you hear different tonality of different perps trying to deceive you into accepting this nastiness. And they use all kind of like deceptions type of voices and tonality, and we mapped it. Like I'm supposed to be like, oh, okay, so you what? Like it's just. Because the reality is they are forcing you to experience sexual stimulation, and they aim those sexual stimulations and those arousals toward children. You're not the first, you will not be the last, but they're going to disorient you into accepting these things, even though you've heard these things said by others. and you know that naturally you will never look at a child and have this sexual stimulation that you just experience because they force you to experience you. And their job is to break you down into accepting this nastiness. So those 3Ds are always going to happen. And this is bigger than just that. You know, your whole life is orchestrated, right? They have the daily manipulations, which consist of this pedophilia type of torture, forcing you to get sexual stimulations toward children, babies, all ages. And there's also this life of yours that's completely everything as a target individual. It seems like when you put in the program, your whole life is now orchestrated and things are done in order to create an orchestrated reality, a falsified reality, right? By these entities. And you have these bottom feeders, which they call them, perps, trash, whatever you want them to be called, trying to distort you, disorient you, and deceive you into accepting this false reality. And it's disgusting. It's disgusting. Right now, they're forcing me to have a mental battle because that toddler there, I don't know if it was a boy or a little girl, but I think the thing is, like, I looked away immediately. Like I just saw like a little baby, and I looked away. I think it's a little girl, but they gave me the stimulation. And when this little girl said, like, no, when little girls is real, you feel the stimulation. They truly are forcing me to have a memory where I have these sexual stimulations. It's usually planted in my memories when I'm a child. So they also have the ability to manipulate your memories to experience whatever they want you to experience. So when they deceive you and make you believe that they matched it to you when you were a child, they can just go into your memory and make you experience this false memory. It's nasty, and it's even your childhood, so it's so disturbing in so many ways. But it's part of the deceptions. It's so disturbing. And they try to disorient you by repeating things. It is disgusting. And then you find out the reality. As much as they try to disorient you and distort reality and even deceive you, reality every once in a while comes out, and you see the reality that these entities contracting these people have problem with pedophilia. So while they're saying, we mapped it, we make you experience something that you experienced when you were a child, right? The reality is these entities contracting this trash have problem with pedophilia. I keep bringing that up because it's kind of like, it's like magical in a sense, that the reality that they try to distort, how they try to deceive you, and how they try to disorient you, somehow humiliate them. The different tonality they've tried to use, the way they try to even, like right now, they're making me feel dizzy because there's things they want to disorient me, even when it comes to like tortures. They want to, like I feel like feeling like a little woozy, a little off, because I'm saying that the reality, which they're trying to distort, is that these entities contracting these bottom feeders are fellow pedophiles, while this trash are manipulating you to experience sexual stimulations, which is safe. They matched it to you when you were a child. You understand how delusional and distorting of a reality that is, and how deception, the level of deception we're talking about? Because this program is truly about kind of changing you. And I have not been myself since August 19, 2019. Every day, ever since then, it's been a change of how I react, perceive, think, and even my memories have been changed. But what I want to say too is, like, if you go into my videos, you'll see that I talk a lot about predictability, control. The way they have the ability to control and predict and manipulate your surrounding. Everything around you is orchestrated. You are also manipulated. Things you can hear a person who have no idea what's gonna happen to them. They can't even tell you what meal they're gonna have tomorrow. They don't know they haven't even decided what they're gonna wear tomorrow, but they can tell you the word you're gonna say, everything, what you're gonna drink, what time you're gonna drink, when it's gonna happen. Because as a perp in this program, this technology has the capability to provide information about an individual who's targeted to a level, and others to a level that's unbelievable. And these perps, no matter how unsophisticated they are, no matter how childlike they are, they can provide you information that you will be surprised, and the next thing you know, you say something that they say like 3 days ago. So they try to be like, they try to do like things that are a little bit like, try to find ways to make themselves mistakeful. But this technology is truly amazing, in the sense of the capability of it. But you understand that this is something that is bigger than obviously you, and you understand that this is a way that they've been implementing these tortures and this program onto people. And it's funny right now, there's like, oh, nobody believes you. It's like, okay, well, you know, do you know that if and these people are involved, anybody can be involved? So at this point, I know for sure everybody knows what's happening, and just going to be participants. So at this point, I will interact with mostly perps, people who are in the know, and they're going to play accordingly. They're going to act accordingly, knowing that this is how things happen to this person. You are part of this program that does these amazing things. We're almost gods to these target individuals, because we can provide things and information thanks to this program that is running, that is experimenting on subjects. And us target individuals who are subject to this technology are supposed to, our whole life is orchestrated, and they use these nobodies, this trash contracted by these governmental entities who happen to have a bunch of pedophiles. It's funny that one way they like to disorient you and distort reality is like, oh, you are a pedophile. It's like, no, reality is that you work for entities filled with pedophiles. You just try to make me accept this pedophilia type of torture. As I'm saying that, they're doing something to my tongue, and then somebody say black girl, where I'm supposed to be acceptive of these manipulations. It's nasty. It's really foul. But this is how things have been happening to me. And these people, obviously, they're not monsters, they're not special, they're just trash. The government contracts. And even if they're just like people who have accomplished things, once they're involved in this program, they have to become trash to be able to trash you. So right now they tell me how I'm gonna be framed, right? There's a lot of, telling me like, be ready. They're gonna come and pick you up. They're gonna come and arrest you because we did this and that. We made up these stories. We did this thing. We set you up in these ways. We did like, and it's, I don't know. There's multiple like narratives there, which I will see which one is gonna happen. There's the narrative of implanting drugs in my apartment, implanting child porn on my computers or some of my devices. And another narrative is a child here said something about me doing something to them, right? They're gonna come up with a story or make up something there, and they have set up things there, and I can hear this childlike individual say how she dared to do that, right? She is trying to be disorienting by saying that and distort reality, because the reality is she's like, by doing that is the opposite of daring. You're distorting the reality that you're just a trash coward that is in a program that tortures women and children, and you're going to do something very cowardly, which will follow the rest of your life. And they like to say, no, it won't, right? But it will. They know that. Now, that is the reality I live in. I don't let them escape into this fantasy, this reality they distorted. And it's foul. It's a world where people have distorted reality, and they like to call it their reality. It's a reality that's been distorted in order to cope with reality. And because obviously there's benefits. They are not doing this for free. There's definitely incentives. I don't know if it's financial or others, but I'll be stupid to think there's no financial incentive for men or women to allow or make their children involve themselves in framing or even involving themselves in these things. Like either you don't love your child, or either there's probably some financial incentive that can make you kind of dumb yourself down into accepting this. So for me, it's just like, okay, well, I'm looking forward to see this person. Good for that. mother and father, and for this child it's going to be humiliating for the rest of their life, because there's no way they can make themselves believe this falsified reality. They even distort reality where they make them believe that they're the noble ones for involving in this disturbing, dishonorable, disgusting thing that will always follow them for the rest. Like, distortion of reality is what they do all the time, but the reality, I need to maintain it, and it's the reality that my whole life is going to be orchestrated. Everything I experience is part of this program. Is there a spiritual aspect in this? Of course, for me, I do find it, but of course, if you don't have to believe that part, because it is, at the end of the day, purely technological. But to find yourself that people around you, all those people have sold their soul to entities that one can think to be demonic, but at least you can say pedophilia centric. At least based on this BuzzFeed article, to call out these entities running this program quite pedophilia centric is not far reach. And if not that, you know that this program, these people doing this thing to me, have done this to women and children. And so in every way you cannot see, if you think about this in a spiritual way, that these people are anything on the righteous side. It is very cowardly. The things they do are done remotely. They don't even want to be seen. They have to make themselves like childlike. And of course they use children, but even adults are childlike individuals. Even the way they talk, it's like they sometimes even try to use a tonality of like a serious tonality, but they talk in a way that is just like, what they talk about is just like childlike. It's like a child talking to me by using an adult voice. Like, I heard a grown man just using this deep voice, like, no, we're mapping. No, it's you. We are. It's us. It's like, you understand? And I told you what just happened. Obviously, you know that these people manipulate people in these ways, but listen to a grown man try to talk this way. Now, he knows that this is part of the program. This is how you push somebody into insanity and damn near retardation. You have to act accordingly. That's why having childlike individuals here makes sense. Because a child-minded individual can easily play this role, because it's not really a role to them. They are truly at that level of spectralism. Versus an adult, rational individual, they have to kind of psych themselves into thinking these ways. Now, it's been hard for me to function. As I'm working, I don't want to deal with a lot of the meetings and things like that in regard of like that's not work focus, because what happens is while I'm in on meetings and things like that, everybody participates in to try to break you down, to disorient you, to distort reality, and to deceive you. Those three Ds, those distortions, disorientations, and deceiveness and deceptions are always being implemented onto you at every meeting. But random people. It is nasty. And it's funny, sometimes you're like, oh, but once you deceived, you said something, you lied. It's like, yes, I've lied before. I'm not perfect. But I never live my life where I wake up, eat, sleep, deceptions, distortions, and disorientation. That's all they do. And then after me, there'll be somebody else. They do that too. Now, I'm not perfect. Right? They'll bring up things in my mind to try to make me think, see how the person's like, listen, I will never claim to be perfect. I have lied in my life. I've done things that I'm not, embarrassed about. I'm embarrassed about now. But there's not a single person who can ever even mention my name in a way that's like, oh, this person have done this thing to me. They had this destroy my life. If that person exists and is not a perp, I will run to them. But these people are the trash of human. They are human trash that are killing, tormenting, torturing some of the most vulnerable people, and that's their life. They live a life where they have to distort reality so much to cope with reality, and they even distort the reality of what they are, what they're part of. They try to make themselves grander, because as a target individual, you're a subject. All these things are going to happen to you, and these people are involved in that. So when they even talk to you, it's like, oh my gosh, you're going to go crazy. You're going to kill yourself. You're going to do this and that. And the way they talk to themselves is like they feel like they've gone somewhere. Like, when in reality, you see who's talking to you. You see this person have their own real problems. They are far from, like, they are truly, like, you can see that this person can break down in 2 seconds. But when they interact with you, this persona they've created, the way they've distorted reality, where they make themselves believe that at this point, look at me, I'm so, when I can say a word, two words of an individual, and this person could look like I said the name of a blasphemous god I shouldn't be mentioning, is the reality of things. That's why, sometimes it's hard to not see the spiritual aspect of things. I'm sorry, I'm not, like I understand it's purely technological, right? This is not a cult of satanic beings doing these things to me. Those are contracted trash working for entities in the government. Now, the level of contractibility and the buffers between those bottom feeders that are dealing with me right now, that I'm interacting with those entities actually running the program, I don't know the level of buffers, but that's that. But with that being said, as a target individual, it's so tough to not see this as a level of spirituality at some level, right? I know this is technological. I know this is people who are paid or have incentive to do what they do. There's a level of incentiveness, and it's not only just financial. I'm sure some people will just, because there's a lot of people in the PSYOP. It's like a lot of people who, in my PSYOP, there's a lot of people who you see wants to be a part of a tribe, right? And for me, like I said, like this like progressive PSYOP and all that is like, oh my gosh, that's the kind of people that would love to just be part of a group of people, and like very influenceable in one way. And it's because they all kind of people involved in this. And the reason why the PSYOP is implemented onto me is because the people who put me in this program are the opposite of this PSYOP. They are extremely conservative. They are on the other side of this progressive PSYOP that I'm seeing. And I know they're 100% the one responsible, a billion% sure that they're the one. The reason why I'm here, as much as they try to change that, even that they try to change it, they're telling the story they come up with, the way they distort reality is something you can't even understand. And so I have the PSYOP of people who wants to be progressive. They got like they are in all different volunteering, and they like like try to be like femme fatale. Like they come up with this little distorted reality, when in reality you're in a program that is torturing you and doing so much horrible things to women. I can even prove you how foul and distorted your story is. I can say a name right now of a pedophile, and you won't even know what to say. That should be an indication to you where you stand in the reality of what you're part of. But they know the reality. They are trying to escape that reality and distort the reality of what they're part of. And the disorientations and the things they say to disorient the reality is what they do. Tonality, the way they make the same sound, the way they try to be like all this. But they are here in a program that is not only torturing me, but the people torturing me are torturing women and children, and have tortured women and children, and will torture women and children. And they use even these childlike people to torture women and children. To all my target individuals, see things for what they are, and understand, yes, let's understand that this is 100% technological. This is not a cult of whatever they try to create as a PSYOP, or a government, or a mafia, or a crime organization. Like, they contract people who are civilians. Whatever they try to present themselves as, it's nothing. The government is contracting this trash that you see them in front of you, and they're gonna act accordingly. And there is a PSYOP, and the people running this program are definitely from the governmental entities. Now, what you see might not be that. What you see might be like whatever PSYOP they have. But please understand, it's definitely, they're just the bottom feeders. And whatever incentives they get out of it is whatever incentive. Whatever, if it's financial, if it's self-esteem, or whatever it is that they get out of it, just being part of such an amazing, advanced, sophisticated technology, and I have the ability to be involved in that alone can be an incentive. And when I mean amazing, it's just amazing in the capabilities, not amazing in a good way, like in doing good things to people. So to all my target individual, stay strong. Because this trash will do those three things I keep saying. They're going to distort reality, distort everything they can, disorient you, and the deception is going to be something that they'll eat and drink that. That's their life. Complete deceptions of deception of all kind of things. So stay strong and know that justice will be done for the nasty things they do.